Harvin, and welcome to the Tony Harvin Network YouTube channel. If you like, hit that subscribe button listed right here. After you hit the subscribe button, if you want to receive all notifications of videos that come out on this YouTube channel, hit the notification bell and select all after you hit the notification bell. Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Tony Harvin, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Tony Harvin Network. This here is regular conversation number 240. Regular conversation number 240. We'll be here to have a testimonial video about two individuals who went to prison and one who was a law enforcement officer. Shout out to everybody out there. Y'all know my disclaimer. I'm not a pastor, preacher. I don't hold any type of office in the church, so please do not lay claims of those titles on me. We're not here to violate any type of community guidelines, any type of copyright infringement, or any type of privacy guidelines. Shout out to everybody who's going to join us live now in the middle, and those who are going to catch it when it uploads to YouTube. Now, the StreamYard link is pinned at the top of the chat. If it's not, please let me know. And if you have any type of question that you want to come on here and ask any individual question in reference to their testimony, feel free to do that. You can also ask your question in the chat room. Please let it be related. Let it be relatable to the topic at hand. So we got C.Spain, Brother Jonah, and Brother Marvin Elliott, also known as B Holy, who's here to give their testimonies about their journey from prison. And one, Marvin Elliott, is a law enforcement officer. So I'm gonna let Brother Jonah go first to start this thing off with his testimony. Brother Jonah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. So go ahead.
Okay. So do you want me to give you like a really detailed account, or what do you want?
Where you from? What was your upbringing like? And things like that. Like start off from the beginning.
Okay.
And then work your way up to, you know, how you got to prison and stuff like that, how you came across the truth of God. So all three brothers, by the way, are in the truth of God. You understand that? Along with myself. All right. So you can go, sir.
All right. So pretty much my name's Jonah. I grew up in a Southern Baptist home. My dad was Southern Baptist, and my grandma was Lutheran and grandparents Lutheran. So what happened pretty much is I grew up, learning the whole doctrine that they had and all that. I didn't really know much though at the same time. But so I grew up Southern Baptist. It was really interesting, learning all of that as a kid, because I didn't really have a great grasp on anything really, but I was still learning. But the whole thing is, so I was about 14 when I got first arrested. I was in juvie for that. I was only like 30 something days, something like that, for a gun charge. Yeah, I was pretty wild. I was on the streets. I was, running with the wrong people, stuff like that. And so I was bringing a gun with me to school because I didn't know, I didn't know what's going on, right? So pretty much what happened is somebody snitched on me, and they found out I had it on me, right? And they told one of the guys there, he was like security at the school or something like that, and eventually they came in and found me, right? And they had their guns drawn on me and all that stuff already, so they were like, they weren't playing around. So pretty much they took the gun off me and all that, and I did juvie, so it was like 30 days, something like that. But it was really interesting. I got like about a year of probation. I had the ankle monitor on, and yeah, it was really interesting with that. But so after that, I was about 18, and I had a DUI. I was driving my car, and what happened was I decided to go around to a cemetery not far from the house, and at that time I was, smoking K2, stuff like that. And what happened is I took a really, really big hit, right? And I held it in too long, stuff like that, blew it out. And I was driving for a little bit, maybe at least probably 50, 100 feet, I'm guessing, something like that. And I just completely blanked out. And I was going for probably like maybe 4 or 5 blocks. I went over a snow embankment. I impaled a stop sign in the bottom of my car. I kept going. I didn't know what was going on though, because I'm completely blacked out. But that happened. I think I had almost hit somebody. I didn't know at the time, but and then I hit somebody's truck, and I totaled their truck into a tree, and I totaled my car, and in the front it was V'd in, like literally. And when the cops came to, check on me, well, first people were walking around my car. They were trying to think, oh, is this guy all right? What's going on? And so I'm coming to, and I'm looking around. I'm thinking, why am I not moving? Why is my car not moving? What's going on? Why am I still stuck? Why am I stuck? So I see this guy, and I'm like, what is this guy looking at? Right? He's looking at me outside the car, and I'm thinking, what in the world is going on? And so eventually the cops pull up, and they're like, hey, open the door, open the door. And I'm still not there, right? So I'm thinking I ain't open the door for nothing. So I locked the doors, and they busted out the front and the back passenger on the right side. They busted that out, and one's trying to pull me from one side, the other's trying to pull me from the other. And it took about 10 minutes till they got me out of the car, and then they tried handcuffing me, and I was able to get off of both of them. And I ran for a good minute, and then eventually they brought me back to the car, and then they handcuffed me. But it took a while for them to handcuff me on the ground. So they put me in there. I only did about a day, and then I got bailed out. Eventually, everything got dropped. Everything. It was really interesting how that worked out. But so pretty much what happened was that was at 18. Now 21 is when I went to prison. Earlier that year in 2016, my brother, he overdosed on heroin, and it sent me into a really bad place. Right? I didn't know what was going on. My brother just died, and it was pretty messed up, and it just put me in a bad spot. And I was going from place to place. I wasn't really stable. Um, I was just in a bad place, man. So what happened was I was with my girlfriend. We were staying at my aunt's for a time, and then eventually we weren't able to stay there, so we were going to stay at her sister's. And mind you, I'm 21 at this point, and so we're staying with her sister for a few days. It was a little bit before Thanksgiving, and then we were about a day from having to be out living in my car, and this is a different car, of course. But so what happened was I'm thinking, oh, I got to do something, to find some money. I got to do something at least in order to, help us to stay afloat, right? And so what I end up doing is I found somebody outside of a bank, and I robbed him. And I got back in my car, and I sped off, right? And pretty much just, I got out of town, all that. And I came back into town later on that day. I don't know why I did it, but I see now. But I came back in, and eventually I dropped my car off where her place was, thinking, okay, if I come back, then it would give me like an alibi or something that I was still there the whole time. But she wasn't home. Her and her boyfriend, they ended up going to like the food bank or something. And so I'm trying to get in the front door. The door is locked. So I go around the back trying to get in that. It's locked. As soon as I come around the back of the apartment, this cop pulls up in a truck across the, like I'm seeing as I'm going around the corner, I've seen him coming around the other corner. So I take off throughout the back, and I go through a few alleys into a cemetery. And I hide out, and I just lay down, lay low and stuff, right? What happened was, so they found out I was around that area. My car's over there. It's parked, everything, right? I got the keys and everything on me. And I'm thinking I'm going to wait for a little bit and then just run back, go to my car, and then get back out of here. But what happened was they came around eventually, about an hour or two later, they came around to that cemetery. I was in the woods laying down. And they had about 20 different cops just circling the whole area, everything, shining the lights on the side of the trucks and all that stuff. So I'm sitting there thinking, man, I gotta get out of here somehow, right? And they had me completely circled, though. I couldn't do anything. I literally decided I gave up, right? And I just went out, and I started to walk out there, and I lit up a cigarette and started to walk out there, and I'm thinking, oh, this is it, right? So pretty much what happened is about 6 cops came up to me, and they tried to handcuff me, and I started to break off all of them. Of course, they didn't know if I had anything on me, but I broke off of all of them. And I took off running for about maybe 50 yards or so. and they let the canine loose on me. And the canine got onto my right foot. The bottom jaw was on the back of my heel. The top jaw sunk into the top of my foot right above, where the ankle is. And what happens, he pulled me down. I'm trying to get off this dog and run at the same time. And I couldn't get him off me. And by that time, they were able to catch up. So what happened was they pulled me back, brought me back to the car. They sat me down in front of the car. And I'm sitting there like, I didn't even know I had my foot. It was gaping open for maybe like 3-4 inches. And I'm thinking, man, this dog got me really bad, but I couldn't feel it because all the adrenaline. And they got me in the truck, took me to the ambulance. They got me in the ambulance, and then they took me to the hospital. And so I get to the hospital. They give me 7 staples in my foot. So that was pretty interesting. No pain, medication, nothing, just straight stapled. So they brought me in the jail, did the whole thing, checked me out, did all that. And once I'm in the jail, I have my own cell. Nobody's with me. It's a real small jail. It's not too many people for that. I mean, the town wasn't really all that big either. But what happened, I was in the jail for about maybe 117 days or so, if I remember right. And when I was there, most of the time I did by myself. But I also found one of my neighbors that I used to buy drugs from as a teenager. He ended up becoming my cellie. And this was, mind you, this was like 10 years prior. So he ended up becoming my cellie. And, so that was pretty interesting with that. But while I was in there, my girlfriend came to see me. She told me, I lost my car, lost all my stuff, right? And she came and told me this. She said, hey, I wanted to tell you this. I felt like I could not tell you, and I cheated on you. And so that really broke me down to the core. I lost my car, lost my stuff. Then I hear this, and it was just a string full of different things. And so I went back to my cell, and I took my bed sheet and I wrapped it around my neck, and did all that and made it. And I put it at the base of my bunk, at the top of my bunk, at the top part of it. And I jumped off there just enough to still have my feet up, where I wasn't really like touching the ground so much. But so what happened is the guy that was the CO there, he didn't have his knife on him that day, and he had to hold me up while he called for somebody else to come in to cut me down. And he said I was completely purple in the face. And when I was out, I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything. It was complete pitch black darkness. There was nothing. You didn't even know you were there. And it was, I don't know, it's just really, I don't know what that was, but I just found that interesting. But so they went and checked me out of the hospital, found everything was fine. They brought me back. They put me in the holding cell inside of the garage. And I was in a turtle suit for about 3 days and 3 nights. And while I'm in the turtle suit, that's all you got is just strapped to you, right? And you got no blanket. It's a really tiny mattress. I mean, the thing is super thin, if you even have one, right? It's real thin. And the only thing that was in that cell was a Bible. And I didn't put it there. And I found this really amazing. It was like the second day, I believe. I heard the first thing I ever heard in my life, and I never really had a relationship with God. I didn't know him. I barely knew anything about church and all that stuff. And I thought, man, what is this? And I heard the Lord speak to me. He said, I am calling you to minister. And I didn't know anything about what that meant, man. Not a single bit. And I literally heard this, man. It's amazing. So while I'm in that cell, I do the whole 3 days and 3 nights. I get out, and they put me back in my original cell. But of course, they're watching me constantly, right? But so the whole thing is, I get back in there, and I do the rest of my time in jail. And then they transfer me. And then at that point, when I get sentenced and everything's finalized, I was looking at 10 years, I should say, before I hung myself. I was looking at 10 years, first off the bat. But it got reduced slowly but surely. Wanted 6 at 50, by 6 years at 50%, but I ended up getting 7 at 50%. So what happened is they sentenced me everything right, and eventually I get sent out, and I go to a medium max. And once I'm in the medium max, I'm there for about maybe 2-3 months, and then from there I go transfer to the prison I was at, where I did the rest of my whole time complete, like about 3 years. And so when I was in there was a brother. He told me, he said, "You're a youth minister." And I didn't know what that meant at all. Now, of course, there's nothing in the Bible that says youth minister, and I know that. But he said to me, "You're a youth minister," and I found that really amazing, because my girlfriend that told me that in the past, she ended up coming to see me about a year or two later into my time, and she told me the exact same thing, word for word, not even ever talking to him. And then my aunt came to see me a few weeks after that and said the exact same thing to me. And so I was like, wow, that's amazing. When I was in, I should mention this. When I was in the county jail, when I heard that he said, "I'm calling you to minister," I looked at that, and I looked at the Bible. I'm like, wait a second. I remember as a kid in the Southern Baptist Church, he said, "I am that I am." I looked in there and I found it. I said, whoa, that's amazing. And so that really stuck with me. When they told me that, I said, this is it. This is what this means. Is I'm supposed to minister to the youth. I'm supposed to minister to people that are like me. I'm supposed to, people my age and stuff, and just in general. And so I do my time in the prison there. So I did a lot of things. I mean, I lifted weights. I went running. I danced, because that's what I would do for exercise, Melbourne Shuffle. And so I'm doing my time. It wasn't really difficult. It had its times, had its moments, of course, but for the most part, it was time for me to get in the scriptures, and I was starting to seek. I was starting to want to know. And ever since I left that county jail, I was trying to get in the scriptures and learn it, but I started to get way more into it in prison. And so I started to really learn a bunch of stuff. I was reading the church fathers. I mean, I was reading all the ancient theologians. I was reading all that stuff, thinking these people have it right with Trinity. And I really believed it. And I got into it so deep that I was way into Reformed theology. And so I started to learn Calvinism, and I started to want to be a Calvinist. And eventually I got out and I went to an OPC church. And then that's how everything changed, because I started listening to Gino I got out in 2020, I should say, and I had 3 years to do on parole. And so I did all the 3 years right. Of course, everything was fine. But so what happened is I started listening to Gino about a year in, when I got out, and I was still in the OPC, but I was still listening to him and going there at the same time, because I was still seeking, I was still searching, trying to think, what is this? Because there's something to this. I know it. And I'm listening about baptism. I'm listening about all these other things. I'm like, wait a second, this is not how they believe, and this is not how Reformed people believe. And I'm thinking, okay, well, you know, let me keep listening to what this guy's saying. I won't write him off. None of that. And so I listened to him. And I started to get piece by piece that this is wrong about them. This is wrong about, and I started to think, okay, I need to actually take this and accept it. And so I started to listen to Gino just constantly, day and night almost. And I started to believe everything that was contrary to the Presbyterians, to Calvinists. And I started to take it all. And I'm like, okay, this is true. This is right. But I fought the baptism for about a few years, because, see, Calvinists believe one baptism, right? They believe that too. But the thing is, they don't believe it as we do. Now, the thing is, with them, they say if you get rebaptized, that's Anabaptism, that's not solid, it's not good. And he doesn't accept it. So for a while, that's what really hindered me from actually doing it. But I really believed that what Gina was saying was true and right. And so I didn't get baptized until 2023, September, the 9th of September. So I got baptized then, but for a long time I was baptized Trinity at 11. But Presbyterians, they don't believe in immersion, they believe in sprinkling. So it was a whole different thing. So I never got rebaptized there or none of that stuff. So but pretty much that's just how everything went. But yeah.
Cool, you good?
Yeah, there's a lot to try to remember and unpack. So
Cool, I definitely appreciate that. Christopher Spain, you up next.
Oh man, I think my tour started probably around, I want to say 2005. I had a long history of violence as a as a young kid, age 7 years old, age um, 6, 7 years old, I believe. From the age, I want to say 6 or 7 years old, I was in residentials, um, uh, group homes, uh, foster homes. Uh, so that was pretty much my background. I didn't reunite with my mother until the age of 13 and a half. So from age, I'm going to say 7 all the way up to 13 years old, that was pretty much a bid. I did um, I want to say almost 3 years in Westwood Lodge facility, which is a hospital in Massachusetts, really well known. I did some time, what's it called, Italian House. Did some time over there as well, which is not too far from actually where I'm at. Uh, Went to about maybe three foster homes, about three foster homes. Um, After that, I had a long history of violence, fighting teachers. Um, I was never the bully. I was getting bullied on. So when my mother's best friend's brother, he used to make me fight a lot. So you know, I became the aggressor. So once that started to happen, I was just fighting constantly in school, and yeah, just a long history of violence, man. Long history. So um, leading up to me going to jail and prison and all that good stuff, I got into a fight with the mother of my child at a very, very young age. That was the Pandora box that opened everything. Um, I'm not advocating for no man, nor situation to ever put their hands on the mother of their child or their girlfriend or whomever. It's wrong. I don't care what the situation is. It's just wrong. But that opened the Pandora's box for everything else. Everything that I was doing in my older adolescent years, I never got caught for. That was the one thing that got me locked up. Um, that was the one thing that got me locked up. And I had 2.5 years I had 2.5 to do with good time, but 2.5 years probation over my head from that charge. My very first offense, mind you, of assault and battery or aggravated assault. And um, there was one more charge that I caught. Um, what was that charge? Resisting arrest. So at the age of 17 years old, I had 3 charges from that. Um, and once that happened, it was pretty much a wrap. Uh, Numerous drug cases, that was my thing. I never got caught with anybody. I never had nobody wound and put the battery in my back. Never did dirt with nobody to do nobody's time. Anything that I ever done, I always did it on my own account. Marijuana charge, possession of marijuana, possession to intent. to distribute. So that was my thing, selling marijuana and smoking marijuana. That was my thing. I was also in the gang. I was affiliated, and then jumped in to the Bloods here in the East Coast. I would attend meetings and um, go to meetings and that sort of thing. And I got ranked a little bit high in doing that, which was ridiculous. So during all of this time, um, that led me up to my first offense. I would catch I would catch cases as far as drug cases, but the judge had so much leniency, and I would always see one judge. It was never any other. I don't know why. It could be from a different district, and the probation, the case that I had, they would ship me back to South Boston court, and I would always see this judge, and the judge would tell me. He would always tell me. He would say, Christopher, you never get locked up with anybody. You certainly you're certainly not getting arrested for ammunition or guns, because I would lock you up. And he was like, your problem is that you can't stay out of trouble. And he was like, I don't understand why you can't stay out of trouble. He was like, you don't even look like you should be in jail. But he was like, guess what? There's a lot of people that don't look like they don't need to be in jail, or look like they're going to go to prison. And guess what? You're going to look like you're going to be in prison and jail, because you're going to wear the suit. You're going to be locked up. He said to me, I want you to know this. He was like, if you keep coming here in my courtroom, they're going to ship you over here. And I don't care where you're at. It can be in Maine for all I care. They're going to ship you here. And guess what? I'm going to reinstate your probation. And I'm going to keep reinstating your probation. Now, if anybody doesn't understand what reinstating means, that means that if you have 2.5 years probation and they reinstate that probation, not only are you going to have to do that time, you're going to have to do a little bit extra on top, and you're going to do that time, and you're going to do more probation. So that was his thing. And Judge Zimian out of South Boston, he's one of the first judges to start drug court in Massachusetts, along with there's a what's her name, Judge Pirro, that has that show. They're the first two people to ever start drug court here in the United States of America. So I know a lot about Judge Pirro. I know a lot about Judge Zimian. So so during that dumb cases until it happened. That was going on with the mother of my child. I was young and stupid. I had 1 foot in the street, 1 foot working, 1 foot in the street, 1 foot working, angry, disrespectful, arrogant, pompous. I was terrible. It was terrible. So I had got locked up for 6 months.
Chris, you're kind of lagging.
You hear me?
You're still kind of lagging a little bit. No, not really.
Still choppy?
You sound good right now.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
You good?
You can hear me now?
Yes, sir.
So I got locked up for 6 months, and then can you hear me now? I'm good?
Yeah, you good.
Okay. So I did 6 months. After doing my 6 months, there was a lot of things that was going on with me and the mother of my child. After I did 6 months, it was crazy, man. After I did 6 months, I got out. I caught a charge fighting. Just fighting. And then I had 18 months. Out of the 18 months, I ain't gonna lie to kick it, I think I did 11.5 months. Oh, it's terrible. After I did that, um, um, I got into it with a rival gang. I think I shared a little bit of this testimony. I got into it with a rival gang and people that I all grew up with. But the thing about me is, it still stands with me to this day, you couldn't make me not like, and I know people like, Chris, what's something wrong with you? I'm the type of individual where you can't not make me not like nobody because you don't like that individual. I've always been like that, which is why I was never a good candidate to be in the game. Because if I knew that there was a snake in my circle, I would call you the snake. Even if you was in my circle, I would still out. That's just how I was. So I grew up in a situation where I grew up with a lot of people, you know, back in the day, sleep overnights, you know, playing Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, you know, we all grew up together. So, you know, that I just I could not see myself now, even though I'm from another side, I could not see myself, you know, hanging with anybody that certain individuals didn't like. Some people from the streets would be like, oh, you know, he's, you know, switching fossils as we used to say, or he playing both sides of the fence. But really I have respect of both sides because I was that dude. But there was people that didn't like that. There was outsiders that did not like that. They didn't like me hanging with the other side. They didn't like it, and they couldn't respect it because I have respect for that side, and I have respect from where I was from. And the interesting thing about it is you could never get me to tell on that one or tell on that one or rock somebody to sleep, or this person gonna be over here and that person. I was never like that. I was just as solid. But there was other people that did not like that. They couldn't respect it. So I end up getting shot July 4th. I want to be careful. July 4th. But mind you, I still had this 2.5 years over my head. The 6 months that I did was from another courtroom. Judge Zimian had so much mercy and grace on me. 6 months. I did the 11th months, 10 or 11 months. I got out from that. I wasn't even out no longer than 3 months when I got shot. I wasn't even out. So I got out. July 4th, I got shot. I think it was 2006. And beginning of 2009, forgive me, I don't want to lie to kick it. 2009 or 2000, late 2008 is when I got out. But when I got shot, I remember I was praying to God and I was telling God, I was partying. First of all, I was partying July 4th. I was smoking, I was drinking. I had a bottle of Henny in one hand. I'm on a dirt bike. I'm on a dirt bike. Left hand holding the dirt bike, one hand holding the gallon of Henny, one blunt in my mouth. I'm wilding, acting like I don't got no problems. I'm around my whole family. We all smoking, we all drinking, and then shots go off, and then my cousin, everybody was running. I'm hearing shots going off, but I'm so high and drunk. I'm ducking, but I'm like, if you be honest, it's not like the movies. Like when you so arrogant and so you think you invisible and Superman, you don't think like nothing can harm you, like nothing can touch you. And I wasn't the biggest, baddest, and brawler dude in the street, but I was one of the smartest. So I always felt like my intelligence can save me from bullets. If that's any, I don't know. That's just how I thought. I felt invincible. So I got hit twice. A shot in my thigh and went out, and then shot in my calf muscle went out. And my cousin was like, I'm still on a dirt bike. He was like, yo, you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And then he was like, "You sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." And then he looked, he's like, "Oh, yo, you hit." So I looked at my leg. I'm like, "Oh, yeah." I'm laughing. I'm like, "Oh, I'm shocked because my adrenaline's pumping. I'm high. I'm drunk. I got so much liquor in me. So I'm not really feeling. I'm not really feeling nothing, to tell you the truth. I'm not feeling nothing." So he's like, "Yo, you hit." So then I hear some screaming. Come to find out, my cousin, he got hit too. So I didn't see the car. I didn't see nothing. I didn't see none of that. So I'm like, "All right, yo." He's like, he's crying, he's mad. I'm like, "Yo, just call the ambulance." I'm literally on the bike, like, just call the ambulance, because I'm just full of adrenaline. Like, yo, just call the ambulance. I'm gonna be all right. But mad blood was leaking out of my thigh, not my calf muscle, but there was mad blood leaking out of my thigh. And when I got to the hospital, my cousin came with me. I couldn't believe it. There was what do you call them? What do you call them? The young nurses and the young doctors, the young staff. They was there, and this was the first case on July 4th as far as anybody getting shot. So they were there, like the young staff was there, and the doctor was showing them what type of wound I had, and they was working on me while they was talking. It was crazy. And I went to sleep. I was knocked out. I passed out. I remember waking up. The doctor was like, "Do you have insurance? Do you want to wait maybe 4 days, 4 or 5 days?" He was like, "The most that we can do is 7 days, yada yada yada." And I'm like, "No, why?" I'm like, "I'm ready to go right now." He was like, "You're not going nowhere. Um, you're not going nowhere." He was like, the bullet missed the main artery, centimeters from one of your main arteries, because I guess there's the main artery somewhere near your thigh or somewhere around there." And he was like, "The bullet, we patched you up, and they stitched me up." He was like, "But you're gonna be just fine." And I was like, "Man, I want to get out of here now." So I got out. I walked out. I didn't even get in a wheelchair. I walked. I walked out like I was limping, but I walked out of that hospital. No cane, no. I walked, and it took me maybe 15, 20 minutes just to get out of the hospital. Um, my cousin, of course, was like, "Yo, you wild and sit in a wheelchair, bro." But I didn't want to sit in a wheelchair. So again, attitude, arrogant, just stupid. So get out of the hospital. My cousin said, "I'll wait." They talking about they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. At first, I wasn't even really thinking that. I was thinking at that time, I was thinking, I'm gonna die, because at the end of the day, I know exactly where this came from, and I'm not about to let this. I'm not gonna do anything with anybody. I'm just gonna be quiet. I'm gonna settle. I'm gonna just be quiet, because everybody's talking. They're doing too much talking, and I'm not for that. Somebody going. That's how I always start. When there's a group of people, I'm silent. I watch everybody. I know what you say. I was never the toughest dude in the room, but I made sure that I was the smartest. So when people are talking and they running their mouth, I'm just listening to what people have to say. So once you're done talking, my mind is already made up. I know what I'm going to do. So people are offering me this. People are offering me that. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. I could talk about it now, because the case is over. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And I'm just like, I'm not hearing nobody, because I don't want nobody to be involved with nothing. So I'm just like, man, listen, I don't care what y'all are saying. I don't care how y'all going about it. I don't care. So I remember I walked to my best friend at the time. I walked to his house. He was like, "Yo, you could stay here." And I'm like, "All right, cool." And he's like, "Yo, listen." He was like, "But my mother is scared to death, because the streets is talking. Like, yo, if she catches you in here, bro, you're gonna have to go, bro." I'm like, "Yo." I'm like, "All right." He was like, "But yo," he was like, "I'm gonna do you a solid though. You're gonna sleep in the hallway if anything," because my family didn't want nothing to do with me. My grandmothers, my aunts, my mothers, They didn't want nothing to do with me. When I got shot, I'm telling you, they didn't want nothing to do with me. I ran into an OG. He gave me $60. He gave me $60. He was like, don't smoke that up. He was like, go to the hotel, because there was a hotel you could stay for $15 a night. He was like, go to that hotel. He was like, I'm gonna call you. He gave me a burner phone, I remember, but I never did that. You know what I did? I got some liquor, smoked it up. Then I'm going to the hotel, stay with my friend. But something the next day, something told. I was always a praying young dude though. For some reason, I will always pray because my grandmother and my foster mother, one of my foster mothers, she always say, yeah, you ever get into a jam, just pray. So something just told me to pray, and I prayed to the Lord. I said, Lord, listen, lock me up, even if you got to lock me up. It's just funny, man, because I even said that in my prayer, like, even if you got to lock me up, go ahead, because I'm probably going to die. I'm not going to go to jail. You know me, Lord. So if you're going to just keep me safe. The next day, my grandfather, who was a well-known police officer, highly decorated, his partner was looking for me. And he was like, Mr. Spain, I cannot believe that you're on the street. 10 minutes, not even 4 minutes? 4 minutes from where you got shot. You're just stupid. I said, how are you, sir? He was like, no, how are you doing? He's like, you the one shot with a bum leg. He's like, I hope you don't got no pistol on you, Christopher. Oh, I hope you don't, because I'm going to search you. And you're going to jail. You ready to go to jail? I'm like, I don't have anything on me. You can check me, man. I just got some sneakers and, a couple of sandwiches, some money in my bag. Liquor, that's it. He was like, all right. He was like, well, I'm going to call it. His partner was like, you want to call it in? He was like, you know who? He was like, I don't care if this is Ronnie's grandson. He's going to jail. He got an outstanding warrant. So I was like, y'all can't let me slide. Not remembering what I prayed for, but I wanted to be out on the street because I wanted revenge. I really wanted revenge because I was upset and I was really mad. So he calls his superior. I heard him. He has him on speaker. He's like, guess who we got? He's like, who? Mr. Spain. He's like, really? They're like, yeah, he's right here. He's on the block. He's chilling like he ain't got no warrant. He's like, you want to let him go? He was like, unfortunately, we cannot let him go. He wild. He shot. Stuff's going on. No. Lock him up. Matter of fact, where's the paddy wagon? They put me in the paddy wagon. Dude, they put me in the paddy wagon. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, man. And it didn't dawn on me until I got to the police station that I prayed for this. And I'm just sitting there. I'm just looking. And I couldn't say anything because I'm like, I definitely did pray for this. So when I got to Judge Zimian, I remember this like it was yesterday. It was the mother of my child, and I think her sister came, and Judge Zimian, he was like, Mr. Spain, he said just like this, you're going to jail. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear about how you got into it on the street. I don't care if you got shot. I don't care about what your lawyer and your probation officer is going to say. I don't care about your involvement in the neighborhood, in the community. There's no letter that you can give me. You are going to do your time. Now, luckily, Mr. Spain, you're going to get good time. And I would suggest that you get in as many program and work releases as you can, because honestly, I really want to give you more time. And I can. I can give you 4 years, 4.5 in a day. I could do that because remember, I had 2.5 plus 2.5. And he said, if I see you, he was going to give me my time and he was going to trump me probation. That's exactly what he said. So I already knew crap, I'm gonna have to do 4.5 years, and I'm gonna have to come out and do 2.5 years, 2.5, and I can't even appeal that probation because I still owe the court. So I can't ask for nothing. Now, you're gonna give me my time. So he was like, but this is what I'm gonna do, Mr. Spain. This is something about you. I just don't know what it is. He said, you're gonna do some time. I'm gonna give you 2.5, and then you're gonna do 2.5 years probation. How's that? He was like, you better agree. And I was just like, oh, I'll take it. He was like, all right, Mr. Spain. He was like, the next time that I see you, it better be coming in for probation. And when you get out, I'm going to make sure that I see you. I was just like, Lord have mercy. So I go there. I go straight to Newman. And I couldn't believe it. It was like, because I'm waiting to get classified because I'm a gang member. I don't have no tattoos, but in the system, they know who I am. So I get on Newman, and Newman is free fall. It's free fall. So even if you're not classified to go to a unit, it does not matter because they have to figure out every single thing before you even. First of all, let me rewind. Let me not even go there. When I got there, they put me in the tank with a whole bunch of people. I've never been there. I'm not going to tell you that I was brave. I was shook because there was dudes in there that looked like you can just feel their energy, like they just waiting to get the population. They don't care about none of that. They just waiting to get classified so they can go where they need to go. But I'm still there. So they have me there, and I'm looking around, and one older dude said, don't get scared now. Guns is checked at the door, brother. He said, don't get scared now. So I'm looking, and I'm just like, oh, man. So about maybe, I want to say 10 hours it took them to classify everything. So they're like, all right. They read me my number. They don't even say my name. That's one thing that hurt me to the core. They never said my name. They said numbers, something, and that hurt me because it was the reality that I'm not even a citizen. I'm property. That I'll never forget that. And my Lord, it hurt. And then he said, round up. And I didn't even know what that means. So one of the older dudes, he was like, yo, round up, bro. Round up. You don't want to be in another day in here, man. Because they're gonna put you, they call it ship, they're gonna hold you for like 24 hours because they're gonna say that you ain't cooperating, and then you gotta wait. So just round up, bro. Get in line. So I got in line, and they're like, all right, single line, march forward. All right. Now we in this big. It looked like a bathroom, but it ain't a bathroom. It's like I can't even. It's letting you know that you're stripped of everything. That's when I knew it was real. Dude said, all right, I want shoes off first, socks off, I want pants off. If you got any strings inside your pants, inside your hoodies, I want that too. Any type of coloration on your sneakers, we have to examine them. Any type of jewelry in your mouth, please take that out. Here's the buckets. Make sure if you got any watches, if you got anything sharp, you got any diamonds inside or stones inside of your watches, we want that too. Your chain, you cannot have anything on your chain. If you have anything religious pieces, we have to examine that. You'll get it back in the next 24 hours. If you have any belts, we need that. There shall be no belts allowed. Make sure that you have nothing within your buttocks. We're going to check that too. All right, I want all socks and shoes forward to me. Socks and shoes forward. All right, now I need your pants, gentlemen. All right, now I need your boxes. Now I'm thinking they're gonna ask for my shirt first. No, I need your boxes. Okay, gentlemen. Now take off of your shirts, please. If you have any white beaters, you'll be able to keep those once we process everything. Gentlemen, move forward. Raise your arms. Now, when they said that, there's a CO. There's COs behind you. And there's a main CO that's in front. Yeah, so there's a CO in front, but there's COs behind you. And so, you know, the CO, the CO in the front, he was like, okay, lift your feet. We all lifted our feet. Okay, our arms are raised. Okay, wiggle your fingers, arms forward. Okay, they asked me to jump. They asked us to lift our necks, turn our necks, put our head down, open our mouths. Now the CO's looking in our mouths, he's looking in our nostrils, he's looking in our ears. Lift our sack, spread your cheeks, squat please. Now cough. Nah, you didn't do it right. Cough again. Act like you mean it. Oh, you didn't. No. Check his mouth. Look under his tongue. He's slick. Then after all of that, we didn't get our identification cards. They took our clothes for processing, everything, but they gave us sandals, and they gave us they gave us the uniform. So we put on the uniform. Now this is where it gets crazy. Now once they did that, everybody's looking at everybody, because once they put the stuff on you, you get sent to another room. And I'm like, why can't I just I'm thinking, why can I not just go where I need to go? Because it's a process. And I didn't know that. They slowly preparing you for the process. You must realize that you are property. You're not going nowhere. It's their time. You don't have no more time. It's their time. You on listen, you you on our time. Forget your time. Will you think your thoughts is not even your thoughts ain't irrelevant. It's not irrelevant. That's how I felt. Like my thoughts is not even irrelevant. Because I'm thinking to myself, hey, yo, when am I gonna when can I go? Where am I going? But wherever I'm going, I want to go to population. Because wherever you send me, wherever bump you send me, that's where I want to go. But it's not like that. It's a slow process to have you feel and let you know, listen, this is what it is, bro. This is what it's gonna be. So immediately when we got in there was a dude that had 5 men. There was a dude that they was gonna send up, Shirley. They was gonna send him up because he had a Fed case, but he's still old time. I couldn't believe this, and they was both in the same. We in the same. I could say cell. We in the same cell, and they both got problems. The older dude is like, listen, I'm gonna just be honest. He was like, I could kill you right now, right where you stand, but I gotta do time. And he was like, I'm gonna let the youngins deal with you, because the youngins, man, they gonna do something awful to you. You don't even understand it, young man. You don't even know. And so I'm sitting there, I'm looking like, oh man, I'm like, this is crazy. And I'm not listening. I'm not being no tough guy. I was scared, because the way that he was talking, this is another man telling another man, no freedom, no guns, no nothing. I could kill you right now, but I'm not even going to do that. I'm gonna let youngins handle you, because it's going to be awful. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, and he said it so calm. so calm. He's just like, yo, don't even look at me. Go over there. And the young man is just looking at him. And he about my age. And I'm looking at him. And I'm just waiting. So then I get the new man, because they have to classify me in the right place, because during in the early 2000s it was a little bit crazy. So Boston wasn't really known for Crips and Bloods, but it was getting there. But we was known for boroughs, so they classified me as a borough and as like, he's from Roxbury, he's from over there, and he's a Blood. We know that. So we just gonna wait. They waited more than I want to say 3 months to classify me somewhere, and that's a long time. But I remember when I got to Newman, when I got to where I was going, before they classified me anywhere, it was crazy. There was a whole bunch of people banging on the door like Smiles, because that's what they call me. They call me Smiles. They banging, and I'm like, where's my cell? Why is there a door? And I never forget to see. I was like, oh, you gonna get one? Don't even worry about it. You gonna get one. This is no man. This is no man. You gonna get just relax. You're gonna have a good time here. And when he said that, I looked at him. I'm like, this is crazy. So I remember they was banging like, Smiles, yo, Smiles, woo. And I'm looking up. It was like, I can't even explain it. It's like, when I got there, I felt so small. Like everything was so big, but I felt so small. I never seen nothing like this. I never seen a whole spread, tears and tears, stairs, a whole bunch of just cells just this way and that way. And I've never seen nothing like this. I felt so small. And I shared this before on this platform. I'll never forget it. Rick, I had my bag. I was looking to see if I had any smoke. I don't have no smoke. I'm looking. I see everybody that I knew that was there. And it was 5 people that I knew, and they all said, good to see you. When they said, it's good to see you, I knew this was not the place for me. I knew it. I knew it wasn't the place for me. When they say, good to see you, I smiled and I laughed it off like, what you mean? But in my head, I'm thinking, I'm a fool. They really just said, good to see me. That's crazy. I'm a fast forward. And I shared this on a platform before. Just moving fast forward. One of my childhood friends that I grew up with from the other side. This is when I'm just skimming fast forward. I was in a work release program. I get to go out. I get to rake some stuff, get $2 a day. You know, that good $2 a day, so I can get,
Mr. Spain, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a couple more minutes, man. And
yeah, I'm sorry.
You good? I'm gonna let Marvin go. Forgive me.
And just moving fast forward, childhood dude I grew up with. He was in a real bad jam, and just moving fast forward, I helped him out. Now he was from the rival side or whatever happened. I remember when I came down to another unit. I was on another unit, and I remember everybody was looking at me, and then I remember he was like telling them like, "Yo, this." He was like, "This is my childhood friend. He's a real one." He was like, "When I was in the hole, nobody didn't give me nothing to eat up there. No one tried to do nothing for me, but he found a way." Make a long story short, he was telling me, he was just like, "Smiles, when you get out," he was like, "You ain't gotta look over your shoulder. You ain't gotta look to see what's left, what's right." He was like, "You a good dude." He was like, "You always kept it a buck. You always kept it solid." He's like, "Man, I love you, even though we on a different side of town. I love you." He was like, "And I respect you." And he was like, "I ain't rocking you to sleep." And in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, whatever. When I get out, we'll see. We see what it is. But I knew that jail wasn't for me, because, or prison or any type of incarceration. Because when I got on that unit, I seen my enemies chilling with my friends. I will never forget that to the day that I die. I saw my enemies chilling with my friends. And when I seen that, I said, this is it. They can have all this. This is it. Because for me, again, I'm a loyalist. If I rock with you, I rock with you. You may not even know, but like I rock with you. I go all the way, man. If I really respect you and care about you, all the way. And when I seen that, that was it for me. So, that's just that's just God is good. Glory be to God. I made it. I made it. And that's pretty much it.
Cool. I appreciate that, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Not a problem. All right. We got Marvin Elliott, also known as B. Holy. He's going to give his testimony on, being a law enforcement officer. Yes, sir.
Great evening, everybody. Everyone in the chat, Brother Tony, Brother Jonah, Brother C.Spain. So I'm originally from Jamaica. I mean, my upbringing's pretty much, no family figure around, poor. I was living in the countryside, you know, at the age of 7 to the age of about 12. I've been to like 4 different foster homes, literally 7. Originally, my parents, they got separated. My dad wasn't around at the age of 2. My mom been in the States since I was 5 years old. So I pretty much been living with my in-laws, aunts, foster homes, back and forth, like 4 literally different foster homes. I was still in school. I go to church. I grew up with a Christian family. I'm always in church. Um, literally high school, I was pretty much very athletic. I was pretty much on every team in the school. Basketball team, track and field team, soccer team, all the teams you could think of in high school. I was literally on there. I would go to school 7:15 in the morning, and at 11 o'clock at night, so I'd be home because I go to different practices, karate classes, all that. So I was always active. I was always in church. I got baptized at the age of 12. It was a missionary church until at the age of 19, I came to the States. I met my dad at like one time since I was 2 years old to the age of about 20. I saw him one time and I tried to, reconcile with him. That didn't work. Moving with my mom, spent 2 years with my mom from age of 19 to 21. I didn't like it because when I was in Jamaica, I was used to be on my own, so I didn't have the person say, "Okay, go there, come home this time, do this, do this." I was always get up and go, get up and go. Grandparents was there. When you go and have it back, I'd be going for 2 days, and I come home. So when I started living with my mom in the States, they was trying to do that to me, so I couldn't handle it because I was always on my own. So something happened. I ended up leaving at the age of 21, and at the time, like about maybe when I was 20, I played basketball on the basketball court, got into a fight, and that got me incarcerated for like maybe a weekend. I turned myself in actually. So I kind of like spent a weekend in the jail, and I got let out Monday morning of that same for the following week. And during that time, when I moved out of my mom's house, I literally was living in a gym. I lived in a gym for like 7 years. So the gym, they give me a room. So I lived in the gym for 7 years. And during that time when I was living at the gym, I was working out, get my body right and all that stuff. So I decided to be a bodybuilder. So I did that for 20 years. I stopped competing back in 2018. Um, and then I worked after being in the gym I worked in the gym for 7 years, and then I got a job at a hospital as a transporter. I work in the operating room. I did that for 10 years. I transported dead people, sick people. I work in the surgical area. I've seen heart surgery, hip surgery, knee surgery. I did all that for 10 years. Um, Back in 2015, I met my wife online, Facebook. So something good came out of that. So I met my wife on Facebook, moved down to North Carolina back in 2016. And the first job I had was being a correction officer in the jail. I did that for 5 years. And my brother Spain and brother Jonah was explaining about the process of coming into the jail. I literally, what Spain was talking, I'll be one of those officers that book them in, take their fingerprints, check their paperwork, check their clothes, literally strip them from everything, check their ears, their nose. If it holes in your body, we checking. And if there's a hole in your body, we could find something there. And there's other places they find stuff. So what Christopher Spain is saying, we literally check and make sure you squat on car properly, you bend over, do all that stuff to make sure you don't got no needles, no drugs. And we have found drugs, trust me, stuff just fall out of your body when you start moving the stuff around. So he's technically right. I'm one of the officers that does that. I was on the third team, meaning, when you have a fight in the pod or somebody's in the cell after they're tough and they don't want to come out, and they call me and the other 5 goons I got with me. And they ain't no little, they're big. And they're coming in there. Get stazed or sprayed or beat up. Choose one. But, that's how it is. But after doing that for 5 years, I was getting tired of it. I was, getting fight for no reason. Every time I'm doing something, oh, go get Elliott. Go get Elliott. We need to get this guy out of the cell. I was getting tired of it. And when you start getting complacent in a certain job, especially like that, you get hurt, because they caught you slacking. So I decided to go to BLET, become a sheriff deputy. I did that. It's like a 16-week process. You go to school Monday to Friday. You learn some of the basic laws. How to arrest people, traffic stop, all that stuff. But once you actually become a deputy, all that school stuff get out of the way. All that stuff you learn in school, you don't do it anymore. All that is just to get through the class. So when you're actually on the road, and that's their environment. Or when they're in jail, that's a control environment. So when you're outside on the road, pulling over somebody, okay, there's 3 people in the car. You don't know what's doing on, who's doing what, especially at night. So it's a very dangerous job. I liked it. Growing up, I always wanted to be in the Army. That didn't pan out, but law enforcement is pretty much what I fall back in now. And my position now is pretty much transporting. So I've transported inmates, murderers, sex offenders, you name it. If it's in that county and they get a sentence, pretty much I'm the one that's taking them. I've seen people get pleas 13 years, turn it down, get life. I've seen people get pleas for 5 years, turn it down, get life. I've seen people walk out with a murder charge. I've literally seen it all. And if I picked up people, I actually transported them from prison back to the jail and then take them back for life sentences. And then these are the people that constantly in jail. Christopher Spain, when he said when you're out, most likely you're gonna go back. I've seen people get released in 2 days, and in 8 hours, he's back in jail. And he want to rob a store and get caught. Probation, the same thing. I literally experienced all of that stuff. And when it comes to the court system, it's very tricky. That's why they give pleas to people. And people take chances. Okay, okay, you want to go to trial? How you want to take this plea? And most times when they give you a plea, they have something on you that you don't know. And most times you take this plea because you know you did it. I've seen dudes get literally life without parole, and that's the plea he got. And the most thing that I'll counter is like domestics. It's a lot of domestics. Like, you show up to a call and then you try to kill the help. You call us and you trying to kill us. How is that even possible? You call me for help, and when I show up to help you, you and your husband try to kill me. So it's very dangerous out there. Like most times you go on a call, you need like two officers goes with you. Most times you're the only one, but depending on the call, you will check the log and then you see how many times someone been to that house. So you know, okay, this person has a weapon. He might have a weapon, he might not. So you might want to be careful. You know, people understand like, oh, why this person pulled me over? If y'all don't know, Spain probably know. We could pull you over for almost anything on the road, even a dirty license plate. If your license plate is dirty, that's probably cause for me to pull you over because I need to see your license plate. License plate. If you driving and you move 1 centimeter left or right of the lane, possibly you drunk. You're probably drunk. Are you on your phone or something? So there's something that always calls attention to a cop. So, okay, I'm gonna pull you over because it's probably cause because you're not paying attention. Something is wrong. And most times you're on the license plate. It's all crooked. Okay, license plate not supposed to be crooked. The tint is too dark. You got headlights out. Stuff like that. So it's not hard to pull over someone. When you pull over someone, most times you have a warrant. You got an FTA, failure to appear. 2 or 3 years down the line, you remember you have an FTA, you got to go to court. So, being law enforcement really, really, really make you appreciate life. In being incarcerated, I've worked in the jail for 5 years, so I know the things that they go through. I've seen it. And when everything is taken away from you, okay, you're in a box. You're in a box, literally, like 8 by 8, maybe that big. In the toilet, you have no privacy, and you come out when they tell you to come out, and you go where they want you to go. Sometimes you in there for 3, 4 days, no shower. The hygiene stuff is no sense to it. It's just a little soap, a little toothpaste, a little toothbrush. You put on your finger, you brush your teeth, and they literally strip you down. And then it's supposed to make you not come back. But I've seen people made it 2 or 3 hours. As soon as they get out, they come back. And these are repeat offenders, repeat offenders, repeat offenders. I've seen people come in with many charges. Next time they come back with a murder charge because they lived that life. So back in 2023, I actually got baptized in 2023 in the convocation in Greensboro. After a few years, maybe a year, I listened to Pastor Gino Jennings. I actually found him on Tony channel, and then the first sermon I saw, he was actually speaking about a woman preacher, and I said, let me click on this and see what he's saying. I'm like, this dude's always so angry. Man, why is he shouting? Why are you doing all of this? So I decided, okay, let me go ahead and listen to it. And then I listened to it, and then I got hooked. And then the next one I saw was it was debating the Muslim, and then I actually sat down and listened to it. And then I finally decided to start watching Tony Harvin channel. And then I watched all of the debates, literally all the debates he posted. And then that's how I was able to get into the truth of God for like from 2022. And then me and my wife got baptized January 1st, 2023. So I've been, following the truth of God ever since. But being a law enforcement, man, really, really, really make you appreciate, the things you have and the things you really miss, because it makes you think about something before you actually do it. Because as soon as you do something, literally, you can get locked up. I could tell you I'm going to literally unalive you right now. And if you believe that, what I just told you, all you got to do is go into magistrate office and say, da, 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 I said this to you. And next thing you know, I'm in there. Because it's just about what you say. You don't have to do anything to get locked up. So sometimes it's called communicating threat. If that person believes you're going to kill him and they go to the magistrate office, most likely it has to honor it. And the reason why they do this is because back in the day, back in like a few years ago, I think there was a domestic issue where I think the husband was, having an argument with his wife, whatever, whatever. So the husband get locked up, and then what it is, the magistrate didn't honor the warrant. And as soon as the guy came out of the jail, he went home and he, unalived his wife. So if you ever go to any precinct or whatever, and they say, okay, I don't have a bond or whatever, it's because of that incident. Because now, if I go down the magistrate office and I said this, my wife hits me or whatever, whatever, they have to honor it, whether it's true or not. They have to honor it because they try to protect the victim. So it's very. It doesn't take long. It doesn't take much to get locked up, literally, because Pastor always said, never say what you're gonna do until you're in that situation. So it's pretty interesting, and I like what I'm doing actually, because I'm good at it. But as I said, my job is mostly transporting. So at any given day, I'm like 2 hours away, 3 hours away. I go to work in the morning at 7:15. Sometimes I don't get home until at 10 o'clock at night because I'm picking up inmates from different jails, different prison, come back to the jail, process them, squat and cough, and do all that stuff. So I like it's Monday to Friday, and I get time to be home with my family during the weekend. I get to log in and do all that stuff. So in a nutshell, that's pretty much what I do. If you have any question for me, I'd be happy to answer.
Cool. I definitely appreciate that. All right. So I got a question for Brother Jonah and Christopher. If we can make this briefly. To Christopher, what was your first day like in prison, and what was going through your mind at that time?
Oh man. Should I start at jail or just prison or what?
You can start with jail first.
Okay. So when I first came into jail, they brought me into the garage part before they brought me to what Brother Marvin here does. They check everything, they take everything off, all that stuff. And I came in, I'm thinking, man, I'm probably looking at a lot of time, and I just don't know what it's going to be like. It was definitely a really interesting experience coming right in. I'm thinking, man, this is going to be rough, right? So I go through everything, and I'm thinking, man, this is it's all right for the get-go right now, but it's going to progress. I know it's going to get different. So it was just really interesting, just all the way seeing the progression till I got to prison. I should say when I got to the medium max, the receiving part before I got to the actual prison. You're like Chris was saying, the different tiers, different levels. It was the medium max, so it's a different kind of joint. I was in a different type of joint when I got transferred. But it made you feel small. Yeah, I can see what you're talking about. But I was at the very bottom. I was on the A unit for a little bit. I was near I was in actually A32, and I was next to the washers and dryers, another room right over. So I wasn't like all the way up the top, none of that stuff. But it was really weird because you're just all by yourself for a second. I didn't have a cellie right away. I had probably maybe 3 or 4, I'm guessing, since I was there maybe 2.5 months or so. They would switch back and forth. Somebody would end up going to a different place. Somebody went to population. So it was really different from jail because I was all by myself most of the time, other than maybe a few weeks when my neighbor I used to live with, or not live with, but he was next door neighbor. I used to buy drugs from him when I was a teenager. Well, he ended up getting in there, and he ended up getting out of prison. Actually, we went to the same receiving, and then we went to the same prison. He got out, and actually he died from overdose. So it was really, not everybody, they make it out, but some people don't. But what happened was 2.5 months through that, I got transferred over to my final destination, right? It was really minimum. It was a minimum security. It wasn't like anything medium max, medium, none of that. But it was more dorm settings. It wasn't necessarily like how you would two man cell. It wasn't like that. It was more like 20-man rooms, right? But it was a little bit different. Yeah, it was like 20. I should say like this. So I got 20 in my room. Then there's 5 other rooms. So there's 100 on one side of the house, and then there's 100 on the other side of the house. So it's equal 200 each house. There was about 6 of them in the camp. So yeah, it was interesting, change from a medium max to a minimum. It was a lot more laid back, definitely a lot more doable. I didn't think I was going to stay at the medium max because of my case. I didn't have as much time to do, so they weren't going to keep me there. So they sent me to the minimum, but yeah, pretty much.
Cool. Appreciate that. Marvin, my question to you is, what is your mindset like now that you're in holiness than before as for working in law enforcement?
The mindset, I mean, when I came to the truth and started learning, it's kind of humbled me a lot. Most of the things that I've heard and I've learned in the scriptures, I try to put it to practice. I used to literally judge them, and I mean, especially, the sex offenders and stuff. And after learning all these teachings, then my whole mindset changed, because when you look at it, it's literally one simple mistake. You could literally be in there, whether I'm in uniform or I'm in civilian clothes, and stuff happens where somebody probably cut you off in a lane, and there you go, and you start fighting, because it's really it really humble you, literally. But coming to the truth, it humbled me a lot, literally, because it's once you go to that door, you literally don't know when you're coming back out. And I've experienced it, but actually came out, but you don't know what's going to happen. So it's really a very humbling experience being in the law enforcement. You look at people differently. You don't tend to judge them, period, because you could be in that situation.
Cool, I appreciate that. We got a question from the chat room from Shelly House. Ask Elliott, has he ever had to use his weapon?
I never had to use. Depends on what you call weapons, because everything in your body can be a weapon. I've used my hands though. Most times, if I had to go for my taser or my OC spray, most times that's the last resort. I mostly use my hands, go hands on, But I can tell you this: I never get spit on, and I don't know how I'm going to act if that ever happened. I never get spit on, so I did use my hands, but as to my lethal weapons like taser, my weapon, my gun, whatever, no, I never have to use it.
Cool. Wanda says, question for Jonah. Why do he think there's so many habitual offenders in his opinion?
I mean, I couldn't tell you a whole lot. I could probably say, of course, sin, right? We're dealing with sin. Everybody's full of sin, so it's what we're striving against now in holiness. But before holiness, I mean, this is the stance that a lot of people are at. They're going back and forth, like Brother Marvin was saying. They're going back and forth from jail to prison, go out of jail, come back, and a few hours later, on a possession charge or who knows what. And so I would just say people like to do what they like to do. They like to sin it up. So I guess that's all I can say.
Cool, I appreciate that. All right, we got another question for you from our Tip Time family. Outside the bank, was it a woman or a man you robbed, and how much?
Well, it was a woman. She was a little bit older. I was thinking at the time I need to get some money quick, fast. I didn't have that thinking that, oh, this is moral, this is right, and I wasn't thinking that at all. what happened was I waited outside. I was waiting in my car. I was just trying to think who, when, what, when should I try it? When should I do it? What happened was she came out and she looked like she was good off, right? So I'm thinking, okay, this should be easy, right? You know, there's some money right there. Me and my girlfriend can live out the car for a little bit. We have something. We can go where we need to go. This and that. So I'm thinking not so much, you know, just me. I'm thinking for us, right? As bad as it sounds, but um, yeah, I didn't get that much, and it's kind of ironic, right? So I got about 10 years at first. That was the deal at first, but I didn't go with it. We tried to get down to 6, but it went to 7 at 50%. So what happened was she only had like $15. No joke. I'm not even gonna lie, about $15 or something like that. And I was just like, man, no way. I just did all this and this is what happened, right? So definitely the devil will definitely get you to get yourself in trouble, right? To set you up, to get you in there. So, but I can say that's what really caused all of this. That's why I'm here right now today to talk to any of you. Um, Without that happening, I really don't know where I'd be today.
Cool, appreciate that. Christopher Span. What was the living conditions like when you was locked up?
Well, for me, I was always bunked with an OG. They didn't play that. I was bunked with a Muslim, and that was like he was well respected. And then I was bunked with a Christian that was really well respected, and their cleaning routine was something serious. Something serious. That's something serious. They cleaning routine. They didn't play no games. If you wanted to use the bathroom, and listen, not for nothing. A lot of people be lying. People think like when you get bunked in and you get situated that you rule that cell. Nah, man. Cause you in there with somebody, either they not coming out, either they gonna be there for a long time, and last but not least, who are you? And trust and believe is always politics. You don't want those type of problems. You really don't. And if you really want those type of problems, you're gonna have to go all the way. So for me, I always had a OG that always said, "Hey, take your shoes off at the door." The door. I just want you to know, cleaning days is Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. All right. Make sure you listen. You do one side of the cell, I'll do the other side. Huh? Make sure if you're going to brush your teeth, make sure you don't get nothing on the toilet. Remember, we got to live here. All types of particles, all types of hair, that's going to cause sickness. So we always got to be on point. So, I always had somebody that don't ask how they got it, but, they had bleach. They had, they get it. You ain't supposed to have it, but they're going to get it. They're going to get pine salt. They're going to get it. That good pink stuff that smell good. They're going to get it. Yeah, they're going to get it. So my living arrangements, it was always good because I always had somebody that was really clean. That's how I became a clean addict when I got home, because they wasn't playing none of those games. I don't even think I can't recall. They was all older men, and they was showing me this is how you say it. They were showing me how to bid. And they will always say the problem with youngsters is that they don't know how to bid. They get here, they become nasty, filthy animals. But every time they open up that cell, even the COs is be like, "Man, it smells good in here. What you got in here?" We do anything. We take the orange pills, the citric pills, place them in the vent. You know what I mean? So when that cool air come, it just smelled like something crazy, Or we would get the little smell things from the canteen, put some water on there, a little deodorant on there, wet it, put it in there, make the whole just this. So that was I noticed. My situation was always, I'm laughing because I'm looking back, I'm like, I can't believe that I did that. But my living arrangement was always, listen, youngster, you're gonna clean up and you're gonna be clean. I couldn't, and I just want to say this too. You know, if you went to the yard and you balled up, man, you better hit them showers, man. You better hit them showers, because if you in there in that cellar, you hit them showers, there's gonna be a fight. Something got to give. There's gonna be a fight and something got to give. So for me, I was always with an OG that was just always clean, just clean everything. So that was my living arrangement.
Cool. We're gonna take a couple of more questions, then we're gonna knock off. All right. Shelly House, she says to Elliott, do prisoners really have people bring drugs into the system?
Well, yes, yes, they do. They most time they do it. Literally, the officers is the ones. Sometimes, most times, bring it in. K2, K2 is used through the mail. It's like they use to seal the envelope and stuff. You really can't see it. It's more like you have to rip it, and some people, they know what they are, so they do. As I said, some people are very good at hiding stuff, especially for the females. They actually stuck it up their, their vagina, whatever, and people swallow it, stuff like that. If you don't use that like an X-ray machine, most time they don't. Wait till they go to general population, and that's when they go doing number two, and they pass it out. So officers bring it in, the inmates themselves bring it in. So yeah, sometimes lawyers bring it in. Yep.
All right. Another question for Elliott. Have you ever transferred? I guess he meant to the DC jail.
Well, I'm in the state of North Carolina. I'm only responsible for North Carolina. Anything out of North Carolina is the fugitives. Fugitives will go back and forth to a different state and get those people, bring them back. But I'm only responsible for the state of North Carolina. I could be anywhere in North Carolina any different day, picking up and dropping off someone.
Cool, appreciate that. All right, this question is for Christopher and Jonah. Being that y'all was considered felons, was it hard for y'all to find jobs when you got out?
Yeah, I mean, right away, it was somewhat difficult. You'd have to find things more lax on, like maybe factory work, warehouse kind of stuff. Things that are more simple, easy to get into, temp agency work, stuff like that was easier to get into. Trying to apply straight away into most businesses or, different kind of jobs, no, not so much, no. No, it was a little bit harder.
What about you, Christopher?
No, by the mercy and grace of God, I can't say that. For me, I had a trade even when I went out culinary. So when I got out, I mean, I'm not bragging. When I got out, I could, even though I didn't have my bachelor's and I didn't have my associates, I had the experience in the resume. Like, that's another thing about me. I had the experience in the resume where I can get paid $20 an hour side by side with an executive chef. So that was one thing that God spared me with. That's one thing I can say he spared me with. But I went through hell and high water, though. It was not easy. It was not easy because all the sin and all the stuff that I was into, all the things that I'd done, it came back hard. So even, my Lord, my God, so even when I would get a job, it was just a lot of that scripture, reaping what I was sowing. everything. I just got a whole bunch of stuff back. So it wasn't hard. And as far as well, now I got stuff sealed up based upon um, certain laws here in Massachusetts in certain cases, as we well know. So there was some stuff that I was able to get situated as far as sealed and things like that by the mercy and grace of God. But I had a hard time adapting because I still had that mindset. I was just thought I knew everything. I'm pompous, like I said, just very pompous and arrogant. But I didn't have a hard time. But God was just punching me in my face every time I had a job. Every time I had a job, it did not matter, even if it was a good one. It was just my thinking, my attitude, the way that I would, um, uh, uh, the way that I would react to certain things, the way that, just everything, my temperament, not being able to take constructive criticism. So I had to learn all these things. I had to really learn how to be they would call it a model citizen. I really had to learn. Um, I really had to learn how to actually be a productive individual and be a man. So I had to learn all that stuff. So even though it wasn't hard for me to find a job, it was just as hard as me keeping the job.
What was your charge again, Brother Christopher?
So I have assault and battery on an officer, assault and aggravated assault on the mother of my child, assault and battery on an individual, um, on a dude. So assault and battery, uh, aggravated assault, and these are all the charges that that I had for my case. Trespassing and resisting arrest. So there was stuff that I could get situated, I could get thrown out. But
Yeah,
as far as that resisting arrest,
right. I had that too.
they put me under the ringer for that. They do not play. Listen, listen. You can listen. You better off getting a job if you have, and this is if you have a theft and that's on your record, and somebody sees that,
Yeah.
they're all right. You get that resisting arrest, and you trying to get something expired. Oh, they're gonna put you through the ringer. Lord have mercy.
They wanted to give me armed robbery, aggravated robbery, and resisting arrest. But then eventually we did the whole plea and everything, and all I got was armed. But yeah, I think it was possession of a firearm in the second degree. I was 14, on a school facility.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I only did like a month, like not even a month, and then I did a year in probation. That was the first.
That was God.
Yeah, definitely.
That was God.
You know what I mean?
That
And
was
then
God.
at DUI, I had that paraphernalia and what was it? Resisting arrest as well. But that passed over pretty well. I mean, I don't know how everything went, but it just seemed like the court stopped talking about it because I didn't do none of the drug class. I didn't do none of the stuff that they wanted me to do, and eventually it stopped and went away. I was like, whoa. But yeah, so I mean that's what I went through. I did it to myself, of course. Being
Right.
a wicked man, that's what I was. So.
Right.
Cool. All right. Last but not least, we're gonna end off with this question to everybody. What advice would you have for the people who never been to jail or prison, who's on their way down that path? What advice would you give them?
Don't go.
Yeah.
If it doesn't seem right, you probably don't want to do it. It really makes you think. You really have to think about your consequences before you actually do it. Because 9 out of 10 times somebody's gonna see you, and if you think somebody's not gonna see you, there's cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's always somebody that sees someone. That's what they told you. There's no perfect crime. They'll track you right back to your house. So if it doesn't
They sure did.
hard, but as I said, like what Pastor said, don't say what you're not gonna do once
Oh,
you're in that situation. It's a more like a self control. See, because anybody, you could be in jail for a lie alone. Like I say, Jonah did it, and he was there, and he's the one that punched a lady in his mouth, and he's the one that's gonna get locked up. And now he have to prove his innocence for something that he didn't do. So all it takes is a lie. So you know, don't look upon anyone because literally it's easy to go to them doors, and once you go to them doors, you don't know when you're coming out. So you always think about stuff you do before you do it. And the cops will put you up for pretty much anything on the streets, literally anything. If something out of place on your car, he could pull you out and say, "Okay, man, let me check this. Run your name. Let's you know you got a warrant. Warrant you don't even know because you hit your wife 2 months down the line, and okay, she went to the magistrate office. I hit my wife. Yeah, she is right here. And next thing you know, you like something that happened 2 months ago. So you never know.
you may never see your family again. Once you go in there, you don't know what's really going to happen.
Happened. Yep.
So, I'm thinking to myself, I got to think in my own head that everybody that I know is dead already. I have to literally go to everybody's grave site in my head.
Yeah, it's just think about the stuff you do before you do it because you get caught up
Think,
quick.
think like a paralegal. If you about to steal, 1 to 5, 1 year probation. You're gonna fight, aggravated assault, 2.5, 3 years probation.
Yeah,
Think
all
like
three of us been in jail, and it's not nice. I've been in jail for 3 days, and that was enough for me. Once was enough. So just think about before you do stuff because it's really easy to be in there, and it welcomes everyone. 6 years old could charge for a felony. FYI, 6 years old. That's the lowest you go.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, thank you, brothers, for coming on here, giving your testimony. Hopefully we could do this again. In general, it's greatly appreciated to all y'all. Hope all y'all
Yep.
have a wonderful and blessed night for sure.
God bless,
thank you,
brother.
Tony. God bless you, Tony. God bless you, brothers.
God bless.
All right, thanks, Brother Tony. One more thing. There's Brother Tyrants Norwood asked a question. No, I never get bribing to let them go. Most of the times they in that van in restraints, they never bribe me to, okay, they already know they're going to prison. So most times they're not going to bribe you to do anything or let them go like that. They already know. So most times they want you to make phone calls for them, but you really can't. But that's about it. They never bribe me trying to let them go. No.
Cool. Appreciate that, man.
Thank you, sir.
Not a problem. Enjoy.
God bless, brothers.
God bless, sir. Thank everybody for tuning in to this testimony. 2 individuals who went to jail / prison, and one being working in law enforcement. We're looking forward to having more testimonial videos like that. If anybody's interested in that, if you worked in law enforcement or if you've been to jail or prison, you know what I mean? Feel free to email me, Tony Harvin at yahoo.com, and we can put together a testimonial live video like how we did right now. Lord willing, I'll be on tomorrow with some more good conversation or some more news or whatever we decide to talk about. You understand? Shout out to everybody out there who tuned in, and God bless to everybody. I hope everybody have a wonderful night. Tony Harvin, I'm signing off. I'm out. Peace. Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Tony Harvin, and welcome to the Tony Harvin Network YouTube channel. If you like, hit that subscribe button listed right here. After you hit the subscribe button, if you want to receive all notifications of videos that come out on this YouTube channel, hit the notification bell and select all after you hit the notification bell.